Just imagine you become so handsome that as soon as you step out of the house, crowds of girls gather, unable to handle your beauty. This is how our story begins today. It's about the Ahmes family, who for generations have been among the most beautiful people. Their beauty made them highly admired, and that's how they earned their living. The eldest son, who is something of a TikTok star, has millions of followers because of his charming face. Besides that, he also helped ordinary boys set up with girls. His father, Parker, was also incredibly handsome in his time, often breaking girls' hearts. He dated over 100 girls before finally finding the love of his life. She was very beautiful, though a bit manly. Their youngest son, Kulin, was the most handsome in the family. The whole family took pride in their looks, but Kulin longed for a normal life. He often thought that if he were a bit less handsome, he wouldn't have a crowd of girls chasing after him every time he stepped out. Girls would go crazy at just a glimpse of his beautiful face. Some would even bleed from their noses, and others would start pulling their hair and jumping around. As a result, Kulin had never even spoken to a girl. He rarely went out and studied from home. Apart from his pet fish, he had no one to talk to. He would often play cards and talk to his fish, which worried his family. They would try to pump him up by showing pictures of beautiful girls and saying, "Go out and see what's out there." But Kulin would say that he wanted a girl who wouldn't care about his looks, someone who would love him for his heart. When nothing else worked, the family devised a new plan. They decided to pretend to be poor so they could force Kulin to go to school. One night, when Kulin got up to drink water, he overheard his parents talking about how they would start eating only eggs for breakfast to save money for his schooling. Feeling guilty, he decided the next morning to go to school. The whole family rejoiced, but Kulin added, "I'll only go to an all-boys school." This dampened their spirits a bit, but they still agreed, thinking at least he would get out of the house. On the first day of school, his father took him on his bike, but even after getting off, Kulin kept his helmet on, planning to wear it all day so no one would notice his beauty. But the opposite happened. Everyone stared at him because of the helmet. A boy named Sid and his gang started bothering him. When the teacher arrived, she asked Kulin to remove his helmet. Reluctantly, Kulin took it off, and everyone was stunned by his breathtaking face. The teacher fainted immediately and was rushed to the hospital. Kulin ran straight home, but the bullies caught him and dragged him to the storeroom, where they introduced themselves like superheroes. These three had been held back in school for 3 years because Sid only wanted to party with Amanda, the school's most beautiful girl. Amanda only listened to handsome boys, so they decided to make Kulin their messenger. They even bullied an innocent boy named Kunal into joining their group. A little later, Kulin went to the principal to complain about these bullies. The principal, already stressed out by his own son, pleaded with Kulin, saying, "Please help me get a girl for my son so he can leave school as soon as possible." That night, Kulin found a good friend in Kunal, and they both went to an all-girls school the next day to find the girl from the rooftop. As soon as they arrived, the girls started screaming, "Take off the helmet, girl." The girls mocked him, but as soon as he removed his helmet, the entire school was in an uproar. A few hours later, the news was all over TV, saying that girls were going crazy because of Kulin. Some were bleeding from their noses, while others were fainting. Even the most beautiful girl in school, Amanda, fell in love with him after seeing him on the news. She decided she would make Kulin hers, no matter what. As the news spread, thousands of girls started gathering outside Kulin's house. His family began charging entry fees to make money. When Kulin saw all this, he realized that his family had been using him all along. When they called him to come back home, he refused, and seeing the bad condition of his pet fish due to so many girls being around, his heart broke even more. He was now hiding on a rooftop from the girls searching for him. Suddenly, a girl came up from behind and said, "You're not planning to jump, are you?" Colleen turned around, shocked, because she was the first girl not to faint upon seeing him. His heart started beating faster and he couldn't say a word. After a while, the girl left without saying anything else. Later that night, Colleen went to Kunal's house. Kunal and his grandmother took great care of him, and when Colleen saw some rare cards in Kunal's room, he was delighted because he loved collecting such cards too. The next day, they both went to the girls' school again to find the girl from the rooftop, but instead, they ran into Amanda and gave her Sid's letter. Amanda pretended not to care about Colleen's looks, but as soon as he left, she started bleeding from her nose. Colleen later saw the rooftop girl again, but couldn't talk to her because of the crowd of girls around him. Over the next few days, Colleen and Kunal became close friends. One day, Kunal took Colleen to watch a football match where he usually met a girl named Lara. Kunal really liked this girl. After the match, Colleen suddenly saw the rooftop girl. He couldn't stop staring at her. That's when Kunal introduced them and revealed that her name was Lara. Colleen then realized that Kunal also liked Lara. Kunal and Lara were great friends, and seeing them together made Colleen jealous. That night, he couldn't sleep because he was confused about what to do. Finally, he remembered that his brother Vokus was a love guru, so he decided to ask for his help. The next morning, Vokus was thrilled to see Colleen because he had always wanted to help him talk to girls. By this time, Colleen had forgiven his family because, after all, if they hadn't forced him out, he would never have met Lara. The two brothers went shopping, where Vokus gave Colleen tips on how to impress Lara. Colleen followed his advice but realized that he didn't know Lara as well as Kunal did. Yet, he didn't want to give up. One day, Amanda came to the boys' school and invited Colleen to her birthday party, handing him a phone and asking him to call her. That evening, Colleen and Kunal went out with Lara, and Colleen realized that Lara also liked Kunal. Seeing them together made him feel even more jealous. Later, when Kunal was gone, Colleen directly asked Lara if she liked Kunal. She initially denied it, but when Colleen lied and said that Kunal loved Amanda, Lara's face fell. It was clear that Lara did like Kunal. Back home, Colleen called Amanda and asked for her help. Amanda, being in love with Colleen, was willing to do anything. The next day at Amanda's birthday party, Colleen and Kunal arrived, but Amanda ignored Colleen and started focusing on Kunal instead. She pulled him aside just as Lara walked in. Seeing Amanda kissing Kunal, Lara's heart broke, and she ran out. Colleen followed her and confessed his feelings, but Lara said she only saw him as a friend. Colleen realized that not only did he lose the girl, but he also betrayed his only friend. Meanwhile, Sid and his gang saw Kunal and Amanda kissing and in a fit of rage beat Kunal up. Colleen watched from a distance, too scared to help. Later, he took Kunal home, where he saw his friend in pain and realized the gravity of his mistake. He deeply regretted what he had done and finally told Kunal the whole story. Kunal was shocked and said that if he had known Colleen also liked Lara, he would have stepped back. But after Colleen's betrayal, Kunal no longer wanted to be his friend. He shut himself in his room and refused to talk to anyone. Colleen missed his friend terribly. At home, his mother gave him his fish, which was perfectly healthy. After hearing his mother's words, Colleen realized how much people loved him. He decided he had to win Kunal back. The next morning, he went to Lara and told her the truth. Then he went to Kunal's house and tried to apologize. Kunal pretended to be indifferent at first, but in the conversation, Colleen got Kunal to admit how much he loved Lara. It turned out that Lara had been listening to the whole thing over the phone. Finally, all the misunderstandings were cleared up. A few days later, they all went to a dance party where Kunal partnered with Lara and Colleen with Amanda. In the end, Colleen and Amanda were crowned king and queen of the dance. While the other girls on stage were going crazy over Colleen, he heard a girl's voice saying, "He's not even that good looking." Hearing this made Colleen's heart race, and he started looking around for this mysterious girl. So, if for just one day you became extremely handsome, what would you do? Please comment.